Finally!
I'm listening to Ace's Place.
The boss is back!
Ace's Place is always the place to be.
I'm your puppy!
I love Ace's Place.
That is you know what? That is huge.
I love being at Ace's Place.
And if you're not down with that, then we've got two words for you!
Ace's Place.
What a rush!
Welcome to Ace's Place. I'm your host, Ace Mendez, and today, guys, girls, I'm a bit giddy, if you will. I'm excited because I have a legendary guest. My guest was the first rapper to be signed to a major label, first rapper to perform overseas. His songs are truly classical, from Christmas rapping to basketball, If I Ruled the World. He was responsible for hits by the Fat Boys and Run DMC, and even involved with movies like Crush Groove and the King Holiday video. Please welcome, if you will, to Ace's Place, a fellow New Yorker, the KUR, the TIS, the first to the best, I must confess, and the BLO and the W. He'll make you want to catch the Boogaloo too. Ladies and gentlemen, Kurtis Blow.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, first of all, like I said, bro, I'm really excited to have you on here. Makes my show just so legit to have a legend like you on here. Thank you for doing this.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me, and thank you for that incredible intro.
You're very welcome. Now, here goes my brown sugar moment, if you will. When did you get involved or fall in love with hip-hop? I mean, because at the time when you first did it, most people didn't know about it, and it wasn't really on record yet.
Right.
So what got you involved?
Well, I would say indirectly, my mom actually moved me into falling in love with music. She was an avid music lover and supporter, and I remember going to the record shops and getting the top 10 records of the week. You know, she had to stay up on the new hits that came out all the time, and I think I learned how to read by reading the charts that each record store would have, you know, the top 10. And that's how I learned how to read. So I actually became her designated DJ, so to speak.
Okay.
I would get the request and have me a little pen and pad and walk around the house, you know, the house parties and birthday parties and holidays and family affairs, you know. So I would walk around the house and get everybody's request and take it back to the record player and stack up the records and play the records that they wanted to hear.
Okay.
And I was doing that at 7 years old. So my mom was a great dancer. She used to go out to the clubs in New York, the Renaissance Ballroom and the Savoy and the Cotton Club, places like that, and the whole neighborhood. And she was the most popular dancer, and everybody used to come get her for the parties and stuff like that. And that thing rubbed off on me. I wanted to be the greatest dancer. And a little kid, you know, doing those incredible dances like his mom, you know, everybody would always applaud and go crazy in the family whenever I would dance. So my reputation got around, Lil Kurt can dance. So the B-boys around the block got wind of that and asked me to come out to one of their battles and stuff. And I did really well. This was in 1972. So I became a B-boy. And a DJ, my first DJ gig I got paid at was a birthday party for my friend Tony Rome, his 13th birthday party. And I put two component sets together. We had continuous music in 1972 at this birthday party, and that was an invention that I thought that I could create. Because before that, you know, whenever you went out to a club or a hop or birthday party, any kind of party, you know, the DJ would play one song, and you know, then you have to wait till you got the next record on there and play the next song, and you know, it wasn't continuous music at the hop. So I thought I was creating something very special.
Like I mentioned in my intro, you was one of the first, well, actually the first artist to be signed to a major label. How did that go about, especially when rap was unknown? Did Rapper's Delight help you get that label signed, or did you sign before that came out? How did all this become that you were signed to a major label?
Well, actually, I was in the studio recording my first song, Christmas Rap, when Rapper's Delight first hit the airwaves.
Okay.
Yeah, my producers, J.B. Moore and Robert Ford, they went out to 22 different labels trying to get this record deal. And nobody liked the record.
What?
Only two people. One guy was Corey Robbins, who was A&R director for Panorama Records. And he liked the song, and then he took it up the flagpole, up to his bosses, the president, VP, whatever, and they shot it down. But Corey Robbins, after that, he quit. He quit Panorama Records and went off and started his own label. And 3 years later, signed Run DMC. That record label was Profile Records, Corey Robbins.
Right.
So the other guy who liked the song was an English fellow, A&R director for Mercury Records in London, over in Mercury Records, probably a phonogram. And he said, yeah, we can recoup this record in 6 months. Let's sign him up. So I actually became a London artist for my first song, my first couple of singles. And my records came back to America on an import. It was a major label, but I was an international artist signed over in the UK.
Wow.
So that's how to deal with now. It was like, a miracle. And I owe it all to God. Because whenever you have these unexplainable instances in one's life, it usually could be attributed to such a higher power. And little things like that, I would like to think of it as, I read a book once called When God Winks. Like, he'll do little miracles throughout your life just to let you know he's there and he's real. And that was just one of them. One of the many miracles that God has bestowed upon my life.
Amen to that. And I'm with you on that, my brother. Rap was kind of unknown. You get the major label. And a few years later, you and some of the others, Run DMC, everybody, you're making a movie, Crush Groove. How does this come about when rap wasn't the big thing like it is now? How do you get a movie out of this?
Well, I have to give the credit again to God, number one.
True.
And then number two, Richard Pryor. I have to give him his just due and thanks for that, because I don't know if you remember this, but in the mid-'80s, Richard Pryor had got a whole lot of money, like $40 or $50 million from Warner Brothers to do movies and stuff to his film company. I think it was Indigo Films or something like that. Well, George Jackson was the president of Indigo. And we played football together over in New York back when we were kids, at the Police Athletic League, the PAL.
Okay.
And I remember this guy, George Jackson, was a hard-hitting dude. Rest in peace. He died about 8 or 9 years ago. But George Jackson came to New York after they signed the deal, and he met me up at my club at the Disco Fever. And he was like, yo, Kurt, we want to do a movie about you. It's called The King of Rap. Richard Pryor wants to do this film about you. And I was like, oh, my God, are you crazy? I said, Melly Mel, come here. They want to do a movie about it. It's right after Beach Street came out.
Okay.
And I wasn't a part of that, or Wild Style. Those two movies that came out, and I was, like, feeling really down, like, wow, when am I going to get a movie deal? And then here this guy comes. I said, Melly Mel, it's my curious spot.
Right.
I said, Mel. Yo, Mel, they want to do a movie about me called The King of Rap. He said, I'm the King of Rap. But George Jackson was like, no, he's the King of Rap, and we're doing a film about him, and, that's the way it's going to be, all right? And then Russell, I said, Russell, come here. This is my boy, George Jackson. He wants to do a movie about me called The King of Rap. So I told him to exchange number. At that time, Russell was my manager. So I hooked him up with George Jackson. A couple of weeks later, about a month later, the name of the film was changed. It was called Crush Groove. But originally, the film was supposed to be called The King of Rap. Also New Edition was in the film, LL Cool J, Full Force.
Right.
A lot of R&B artists were in that hip hop film as well.
True.
And Sheila E. was one of the real stars of the film, and actually, I thought that scene was going to be her and I.
Oh.
They turned that one lovemaking scene. I thought it was going to be a scene with Kurtis Lowe and Sheila E. Actually, I had a big crush on her. But yeah, she did the film. It was amazing. As a matter of fact, Prince had came down to a couple of the shoots of the film, and he was just hanging out with us. Yeah, and he also mixed a couple of the songs on the soundtrack. I remember because I produced the soundtrack, and Warner Brothers had Prince mix her song.
The Holly Rock
Holly
song.
Rock.
Right.
Yeah. And that was a Prince song.
Okay.
But then they had me come in and do a remix on it. Oh, oops.
The whole time this interview, we've been talking about things you've done that's kind of was new to the biz and this and that. There was a major movement at the time when Martin Luther King did not have a holiday yet. I mean, it's gotten to a point now where nobody talks about it. It's just a day off. So you know it's really legit now. But there's a song that you was involved with called King Holiday. Basically, how did you get involved with that?
Well, I must say that was my biggest production of my career, most meaningful, and it was just a straight honor to be chosen.
Mm-hmm.
I actually got a call from Dexter Scott King,
Right.
who is Martin's son.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he looks just like him, a light-skinned version of Martin Luther King. You see this guy, it's like dead ringer, right?
Right. I've met him.
But
You're absolutely right.
His voice is the same. So here this guy called him, "Hello, Kurtis. My name is Dexter Scott King, and I want you to do a song about my father." I was like, "What? Who is this?" Click. Hung up on him twice. And he kept calling back. I couldn't believe it was him. So we became big friends after that, man. That's my buddy right there. I love him. I love the family. I know the whole family. Martin Luther King III, campaigned with him. I helped him get elected.
Mm-hmm.
I support the family. You know, everybody does, 150%. No doubt. But it was just a straight on, a lot of fun producing artists, and everybody just came in and donated their time. Whitney Houston was the most incredible memory I have about her coming into the studio and me producing her. I'm sitting behind the big board, and here comes this beautiful Whitney Houston. She was hot as a pistol. And so she goes in the booth behind the microphone, and she starts singing. And this girl, her vocals were so strong, she blew out the speaker. She blew out the speaker in the studio, and she hit this one note that I had to keep. And when she blew out the speaker, I was like, "Oh my God, that's incredible note she hit." And it was a note, she hit a high note, and then she did a run after that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can see it's in the song. It's the climax of the song in the middle when Whitney comes in and she says, "Let it shine, let it shine." Ooh, whoa. Right.
Right.
That note that she hits, it just blew the speaker away. The other producers and the engineer were like, "No, we have to make her do it again. She has to do it." I was like, no, we're keeping this. And they were like, Whitney, we need you to do it again. You blew the speaker out." And she was like, "Well, Kurtis, what do you think?" I said, "Well, Whitney, I love it. I want to keep it." She said, "It's a keeper." And she walked out the studio and left. So that day, to me, just expressed and explained the true nature of who Whitney Houston was, which was like she's a diva, but not just a diva. I'm saying a very strong, impactful, blessed singer that she was. Totally. And I'll never forget that day. I'll never forget that. And we were also born on the same day. That's my girl. But just that song, oh my gosh. And when we did the video, That was the most incredible thing. Everyone came out to do the video. Stephanie Mills, Stacey Lattisaw, Menudo was in the house, a young Ricky Martin, a new addition, Bobby Brown, Kool and the Gang, LaBarge, El DeBarge was in the house. We had so much fun. It was just incredible. And you know what? Guess who paid for the video? $90,000.
Prince.
Your boy Prince paid for the video. Yeah. There goes that guy again. The artist came through again.
Yep. And, to be honest, funny thing, like I said, I've met Dexter before, and he's the one that told me that. Because I had asked him, I said, why wouldn't Prince be involved in something like this? And he goes, I'm going to tell you something he doesn't want people to know. And he told me that. And I was just like, wow. How hard was it to get everybody involved? Or did you have to tell people, I'm sorry, I can't get you in? Or when the song was created, did you have people in mind?
We just reached out to the hottest artists of the time. No one said no. And it was all done like on the low, in secrecy. No one really knew. So it's like no one could call. No one would call unless we called them.
Okay.
It was a big secret until the song came out.
Tell us some stories, if you will. They look like, from the Crush Crew movies, the videos, etc. Like maybe you look like you guys got along so well. Fat Boys, Run DMC, and all that. What kind of good stories, maybe on the road or in the studio, some pranks you pulled on each other or something?
Yeah, I remember the Fresh Fest tour, the first hip-hop tour, and I was out with Run DMC and Houdini and Fat Boys. That tour, we were out and we were at soundcheck, and it was so late at soundcheck that people were already in the stands. And what happened was Ecstasy was standing backstage, just hanging out.
Okay.
And actually somebody came out of the stands, jumped backstage, and snatched Ecstasy's hat. You remember his hat, right? His
yes, I do. Zorro type
sombrero hat, right?
Right.
So the guy snatched his hat and jumped back and was running up into the stands again. So I saw it go down. I was standing right next to the stands, and I jumped up there and ran after him and got the hat back from the guy and brought it back for Ecstasy. Okay. And they all cheered me like I'm a hero. Kurt!
I can imagine that.
That. Funny.
That is funny. That is
funny.
Really funny.
Yeah, I got X's hat back.
So, hip hop from the beginning to up to now, what are you really proud about hip hop, and what disappoints you about it?
When we first started, everyone rapped in English.
Mm-hmm.
I used to have people come up to me from Europe. Oh, I learned how to speak English from learning your song. These are the breaks. And everyone, but it seems like everyone nowadays, you go outside of America now, you travel to Germany, they rap in German.
Mm-hmm.
You go to France, they rap in French. You go to Italy, Italian, Japanese over in Japan. And it seems like, the countries outside of America who started rapping in English now rap in their native tongues. So they have embraced this culture and they have made it their own culture. And that just seems amazing to me. That's just the most incredible thing about hip-hop right now and nowadays. So the things that really upset me about hip-hop are just the lyrical content, a lot of materialism, and just disrespect to women.
So, talking of your songs, you've been sampled and covered. Nas did your song, Bow Wow's done your song, etc. How does it feel to know that your song's sampled and been covered? Are you glad about that, or was you a little upset? And if so, which stuff was your favorite?
No, it's straight honor. It gives long life, long legs, longevity to my music. Definitely, I got to give a shout out to Nas, because he speaks so highly of me. Every time I've been hearing his interviews and reading his interviews, and that song, If I Rule the World, was most incredible. Yeah, I don't know which one of the duos I like the most, because Next hit pretty hard with that Too Close song.
Mm-hmm.
That was an incredible song. And then there's Basketball. I can't forget Basketball by Bow Wow. that was a pretty strong one, too. I don't know. I love them all. And thank you to everyone who has done a Kurtis Blow song over.
Let's get into something that's I'm really happy to hear when I found out. It seems like you and God have kind of formed a tag team together now. How did this come about? When did you and God start doing business together, if you will?
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing, wonderful thing. Ministry, being one of God's soldiers. I'm actually an ordained minister of the Gospels of my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. But that's a beautiful thing. I think we, as rappers, MCs, and I learned this early in college, there are a lot of legs, a lot of things that we could do as in the field of the oratory. A minister is one of them. There's a minister in every MC if he chooses to see it. These are the blessings straight from God. I couldn't see it early in my career when I was running around rapping and making rap songs, but thank God, God had a plan for my life. When I finally realized it, that I was called to do this, it was just an amazing thing. So at first it happened, well, I read the Bible. That was my mission. I wanted to read the Bible in my spare time. It took about 6 months to a year, something like that. I read the Bible. It was an incredible book, learning about the Gospels, and then of course, the Old Testament with all the stories, incredible stories, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and David, and Solomon, and Moses, and Samson, all kinds of incredible stories in the Bible and the Old Testament. Just really intrigued me. But when I read the Gospels, I was just like, oh, my God, the good news, this is so very, very important. And it really, really gave me chills just reading about Jesus and his whole life. And then when I got to Revelation, that's what really did it for me. I don't want to say I was hell scared or anything, but what an incredible book with the visions and the imagery and the painted pictures that you can read. Most incredible written book that I've ever read. So I got saved in 92, a church on the way. Pastor Jack Hayford out there in the West Coast in L.A. did a lot of Bible studies at my house and moved back to New York, started going to church in New York, and came up with the hip-hop church in New York City. The hip-hop church is a basic ministry. It's a format for any ministry. It's non-denominational, so, we team up with all the denominations. And, Pentecost, Baptists, Lutherans, Episcopals, AME Zion, the Methodist Church. It doesn't matter who you are. You can have a hip-hop church, and it's a basic format. Like any given Sunday, when you go to a Sunday service, we have the same thing jumping off at the hip-hop church. There's a processional, opening prayer, scripture reading, a sermon, announcements, choir singing, a lot of hip-hop. We have a DJ in the church cutting up gospel rap. There's a lot of gospel rap. Okay. It's a basic presentation. It's the good news, and Jesus Christ is the center of the hip-hop church. But it's the presentation is what is hip-hop. We do it with a hip-hop flair or a hip-hop swag, if you must. Right. Okay, so basically that's what the hip-hop church is. It's a church uses hip-hop to deliver the message.
Is this just in New York, or have you started them other places, or?
Well, we started in New York, but there are over 60 hip-hop churches around the country now. Wow. And it's grown as a ministry, as a hip-hop church. I deal with out in L.A., New York, Philadelphia, Oakland, Dallas, Chicago. I got my buddies down in Tampa, Crossover Church with Pastor Tommy, Crossover Church in Chicago with Pastor Phil Jackson. Oh, man, just an incredible, incredible army of soldiers out there spreading the gospel. It's a beautiful thing.
It is. It is. What other projects are you involved with, activities that we can look forward to coming from Kurtis Blow?
Well, I'm helping with my son right now, Kurtis Blow Jr., a.k.a. Kurtis Cloud. Go to kurtisblowjr.com or kurtiscloud.com and check him out, his new CD called Cloud 9.
Okay.
And he's an incredible rapper doing his thing. I pray for him every day.
Of course.
His raps are hardcore. He's an excellent writer. You know, I support him 100%. Other than that, I have a brand new digital distribution network I started called Genesis Entertainment Enterprises. I haven't put up the website yet, but I have the opportunity of taking a song, a label, or a CD, a song, a CD, or a label, and placing it all over the world online with my online digital distribution.
Okay.
So I'm looking forward to helping out a lot of artists. We have a new label called Crush Records. There's Crush Gospel. There's Soul Seeker Records. Those are the two gospel labels, Crush Gospel and Soul Seeker.
Okay.
And then we have Mackay Records. We have BAN Records. So many labels. We're looking to have maybe about 10 labels jump off.
Sounds like you're hustling out there. You're doing your thing. That's good.
I'm on the grind.
That's it. That's that New York in you. That's what we do.
It don't stop.
Hey, out of curiosity, I got to ask, between Kurtis Blow and Kurtis Blow Jr., who wins in a battle, bro? Who wins in the battle?
Oh, my gosh. Don't do that. That boy is nice now. He rocked me in Stuttgart, Germany. I'll never forget it. He put pressure on the headliner. He's getting good. I actually helped him with his live show. You know, he's been performing with me as my hype man for a while, so he's got that energy. He's not scared on stage, and he put together a dynamite show, man. I'll try to tell you right now, I'll put him out there against anybody right now. He's doing the thing, so.
Okay.
I don't. Hey, look, he can't open up for me no more. You only get one chance to rock Pops. He tore me up one time. Yeah, he did.
All right. Now, give us a website that we can follow you on. Like, you gave us something for your son to keep up with Kurtis Blow, so we know what's going on.
It's not up and running yet, but it's coming really soon, really soon. You could probably see a little bit of info up there right now. And it's crushmusic.net. That's Crush, K-R-U-S-H, crushmusic.net.
I've got listeners, their children are maybe thinking about getting into the entertainment field. What kind of advice would you give them?
Well, education.
Okay.
That's the key to success for anything. So just do your research, find out. You know, when I say education, I just mean the acquisition of information. And once you acquire that info, then you need to know how to apply it in your everyday life. Once you figure that out, then you will be successful. But yeah, go to school. If you want to be a rapper, you got to learn your English, creative writing, so many different fields. You have to definitely be a part of your art of rhetoric, your voice, your diction, your vocabulary. A lot of different things play in the part. It's a science, the real science in becoming an MC. So do your research, find out. Let's go.
What's up, everybody? This is Stacey Lattisaw.
Hello, baby. This is the Egyptian Lover. Now, this is Wonderback.
And I love listening to Ace's Place.
Ace is the place to be. A rockin' out of Ace's Place. Check it out.
ACE.
To replay this message, press 1.